what we're doing today is front brakes on the 2011 Toyota Sienna, and the rotors are warped, so we're going to go ahead and replace the rotors. To me, especially when they're warped, it's not worth trying to turn them, because you turn the rotors, makes them thinner and more likely to warp again. So we're going to go ahead and just replace them. I think those, with coupons and everything, were about 40 bucks each. And so I haven't tried to get rotors turned in a while, but I bet you can't get them turned for cheaper than $20 a rotor. So got new rotors. Picked those up from Advanced Auto, used some coupons. Got, I think they're originally like 60 something each, and I got them for like 40. And then picked up some Wagner Thermoquiet pads, ceramic, from Amazon. Kind of shop around, get your best prices. So what we're going to do, since we're doing the rotors as well, we will have to take the caliper bracket off. Normally for these, you would just undo these two slide bolts and pull the caliper out of the way, and you could replace the pads. But since we're replacing these, you can see they've got spots on them, and they're definitely warped really bad. Since we're replacing the rotors too, we will have to take the caliper bracket off. So I'm going to go ahead, because I want to service these pins and lube them up. We will go ahead and take the caliper off, then we'll take the caliper bracket off. If you wanted to save a step, you could probably just take the caliper bracket off and leave the caliper on the bracket. But like I said, I want to take this off and make sure these pins are in good shape, make sure we don't need to put some never sees or something on them. I just don't want to end up with them being seized at some point. So we'll take these two bolts, loosen these up. You might have to get a nut and hold this, keep it from turning. Take these out, these two bolts, one on top, one on bottom. We'll pull the caliper bracket or caliper off, set it out of the way, don't let it hang by the brake line, and then we're going to undo this bolt and this one right there, and that'll take the caliper bracket off. Then we should be able to slip the caliper off. This caliper looks like it has, the rotor off. This one looks like it's got the little screw holes, but there's no screws in it, so we don't have to worry about that. It may be a little seized on the hub, but it should come off fairly easily. So let's get started on this. While you've got the wheels and all that stuff off, it's a good time to kind of check CV boots, all that kind of stuff. I don't think there's any grease joints on this thing that I can grease. I think everything's sealed, but you might just want to look that over while you got the wheels off and got the front end up in the air. But everything's looking good. So let's get started. Alright, as you can see, I got the caliper off, just set it up out of the way. No strain on the brake line here. We'll need to, I'll just use a C-clamp and an old pad right here. Push the caliper back in. The caliper slide pin bolts were 14 millimeter, and the nut you need to hold was a 17. So I got those off. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out and slip this little boot off, pull these out, and put some never sees on those just to make sure they don't seize up. Just like that. They're still lubed up pretty good. I got some grease on them, but we're just going to make sure that they stay in good shape. This one's a little bit tighter. Yeah, you can see that one's, we'll clean that one up, but it was starting to rust just a little bit. we got to that one just in time. So here's the brake pads, and I don't know if the new ones have these little spring clips. We will save these. I'm pretty sure it came with these, and they may not even have a spot for them, but we'll see. But they went just like that. Then you've got your squealer pads, your squealer plates, like that. Keeps them from squealing. I think the new pads may have those made onto them, but we'll see. But save these just in case yours didn't come with these. And then you can pull the pads off, and these pads are pretty thin. You can see we were down to pretty much nothing. Figured I'd show. Like I said, these were getting pretty thin, and these are Toyota pads, so I'm gonna guess that they're probably original. And this thing has just over 100,000 miles on it. So the original pads and probably rotors went about 100,000 miles. This one's a little bit thinner than the other one. These squealers, I don't know, it'd just about be metal to metal before it got to those. I mean, literally. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it would rub the squealer bracket, well, at the same time it got into the squealer. So I don't know if these are made any better than that. These don't even have squealers on them. I guess you're made to use your old ones. I'll have to flip the old ones on here. Oh yeah, it came with some new ones. So yeah, it's got some new squealers on it. And we've got the pad hold downs, whatever you want to call them, go in the caliper bracket. And they also included those little metal springs. So I need to take these out. I've got some that disc brake quiet stuff, the spray stuff. So we will spray these down the back, of course, the back side of them. We'll set those over there, out of the way, and spray them real good, and hopefully prevent them from squealing. And these have the pad on them, so we don't need to reuse these. I will save these though, just in case the next set of pads I get does not come with these. And these are now trash, scrap iron. So we've got 17 millimeter here on the caliper brackets, so we're going to go ahead and pull those off, and then we'll get a rubber mallet and hit this rotor a few times, see if we can knock it loose. Caliper brackets off. $100,000 miles, it's just stuck. I have to get in here, probably both hands, and swing and hit right here. See if I can break this thing loose. I don't see any retaining, anything to retain it on here. Oh, you know what? These are not hold down screws. These are made, they're threaded. I just noticed that. So if you cannot get them off, you could start 2 bolts in here and use that to push up against the hub and pull the rotor off. So if we can't get it to loosen up after a few more hits, we'll put 2 bolts in here and see if we can get it to come out. I don't know if the threads are long enough on these, but it's probably a different thread. So let's see if we can get it out, get it off without doing that, but if we need to, we can.